Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button, and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or in trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are on Monday, November 27th. We're going to take an updated look at micromobility. So MCOM has had a big uptick in volume the last couple of trading days, but as you can see, it's getting itself into quite a tough situation here where, it's sort of threatening to come down to a penny. And it's stayed nearly half a penny higher than a penny recently. But, the question is, a long distressed stock like this, can it continue to be able to shrug off that penny level? So, the most important thing here is that it continues to get some distance from this downtrend resistance here. This it didn't leave it that long ago relative to how lengthy the downturn has been for MCOM, and so it's kind of curling down and was threatening to come back within that range, which would probably put it under a penny. But the last couple of days, increased volume has come in, and it's trying to build over basically 1.5. So 0.0155 is the level that I have there, and then up above that, 206, 254, 322, 378, 413, and 440. If it dips below this 155, really it would just be the 141 to look at, this here. And then beyond that, it's going to be a process of looking at the EMAs, think or swim study, to try to see where some potential support might come into play, because it's just sort of in no man's land. So speaking of think or swim study, over here I had to zoom in quite a bit because that this big downturn sort of really squishes the channel. But if you zoom in a bit, you can still see where it is now. Shockingly, with how crazy the downturn has been, it's just recently barely left the channel. So that low that we were talking about at 141, that did push it out of the lower bound of the channel, came in, and on that big attempt the last trading day before today, it did make a run toward that mid-range of the channel. That's what we look for when something leaves the channel. Come back in, try to press the mid-range, and it was able to do that, which is actually kind of impressive that it had even that much bullish power or momentum within one day to try to make that move. But as you can see, very top heavy wick of the candle there, and then today, coming back down nowhere near the mid-range of the channel at the moment, which is this 257, this bright blue that you can see. So that's what I would continue to look for it to do if it's going to really make any motion to neutralize this downtrend. We're not even gonna talk about reversing it at the moment, just to neutralize it. That said, this was a trigger in a fire relatively recently, as it was moving slightly downward, of course, but relatively sideways, and then you saw this big push downward. So trigger fire there really played out quite nicely. Same back here, trigger and then fire. Had a big move down. So is it going to be able to trigger and fire and have any other motion but down in the near future? We'll have to see. On the histogram side of things, it is still showing that it's picking up on the bearish momentum, even with yesterday, or not yesterday, but last trading days, bigger volume, bigger push. But again, it's very top heavy wick. And the histogram is still showing that the bearish momentum is continuing to pick up. So we'll see what happens, but certainly that penny, as it kind of looms, the question becomes 1 penny, 1.5, 2 cents. Those are sort of the psychological levels at play that I would see, and we see that sort of reflected in these levels right here, right? And then basically 2.5, and then I have this one a bit over 3, so we'll see how that plays out. If it does come up to that level, these wicks might be, those wicks are right at 3, these wicks here. So we'll see if it even gets there, right? It's quite a huge percentage away at this point. So time will tell. But even on that big push, because it ended up so top heavy, it was just a little under a 20% gain. So, all right, folks, I hope that your trading week's off to a good start. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.